Hey guys, Brian Stevens here. Listen, I know that you're trying to find a way to streamline costs with your mortgage companies right now, as you should, but you should also be trying to improve your technology position in the process if you can. Broker Plus is a product that can actually make that happen. Listen, they're the only true POS, LOS, CRM, PPE, and e-signature mobile responsive service in the entire country. There's no one else out there like that. The cool thing is everything is housed under the same roof. They're not compatible. It was all built together, and it will streamline your costs. Check it out. It's such a cool platform. All you have to do is click this banner right over there. Now on with the show. So I found this really interesting. Did you know that there's about $100 trillion worth of currency in the world's economy's global GDP right now? Well, I found this really great visual, and it's down below on the National Real Estate Post if you'd like to download it for yourself and share it with your friends. It's interesting to look at. It goes something like this. The United States is a full quarter of the world's economy at $25 trillion in GDP. China comes in second at $19.9 trillion, and a distant, and I mean distant third is Germany at $4.3 trillion. I just thought that would be higher. So really, China alone is our country's only competition. As I like our position in first place, we should probably do more to maintain this position, right? That's my thinking. The cool thing is this is broken down by region as well. So if I give this one the old stink eye right now, Asia might have the richest region in the world, but North America is right on its heels, if not in first place. I thought Europe would be higher, but they're not. So I thought it was cool to share if you'd like to, so feel free to. But now, as you all know, that beautiful $25 trillion in GDP that we have right now is shrinking as our economy begins to stall. In fact, Bank of America said it now forecasts a mild recession later this year, with the country's GDP the fourth quarter shrinking by 1.4%, and yet property values, they just continue to rise and rise and rise. It just defies logic, doesn't it? That would be yesterday's logic. We have a new logic today. The market is new, one determined by policies rather than conditions. But I digress. Adam.com has a totally awesome interactive map of the top 100 markets in the United States that gives you tons of great information about markets that we're in. It's great for compare and contrast purposes. So like, if you're a real estate agent and you have a transplant or someone looking to transplant, this is an interesting starting point that you might want to share with them. And that interactive map is also down below. Check it out, that's cool too. Adam, however, goes something like this when it comes to affordability. Median price single-family homes and condos are less affordable in the second quarter of 2022 compared to historical averages in 97% of counties across the entire nation. The current level of 31.5% stands at the highest point since the second quarter of 2007 and is up from 26% in the first quarter of 2022 and 23.9% in the second quarter of last year. Both increases mark the largest jumps since at least the year 2000. Yikes. So what do we do? What do we do if you can't afford a home? Well, I guess you rent a home, don't you? Well, sure, but checkmate. The jackals on Wall Street are 2 steps ahead of you, as Wall Street single-family rental firms are accused of stripping equity from neighborhoods by buying up all the available inventory. This is incredibly demonstrative. It's horrible, and it's happening all around us. Think no further than Open Door, my friends. This is exactly what they're doing, but I digress again. Quote, institutional players in the single-family rental SFR markets have been expanding their reach into selected American neighborhoods since the global financial crisis in 2008. These are single-family rental companies, but they now find themselves in an uncomfortable limelight and are under scrutiny in Congress, accused of gentrifying minority neighborhoods and allegedly displacing large number of people of color, black residents in particular. And I'm talking about companies like Invitation Homes, American Homes for Rent, First Key Homes, owned by Cerebras Capital Mortgage, Progress Residential, owned by Pretium Partners, and Amherst Residential. They are now facing congressional scrutiny. Between these guys, they currently own 280,637 homes, and they are growing at a feverish pitch. Now, even though most investment properties and second homes are owned by individuals, the fastest growing segment of the single-family rental market is the institutional investor, and the problem is securitized single-family rental homes are heavily clustered in Sunbelt areas, which comprise the southeastern, southwestern, and western United States region, and in communities that previously experienced high foreclosure rates following the 2008 financial crisis, which means they're getting the 1-2 punch. It's coming back around to hit them again. This is according to the House Subcommittee's report. And the House Subcommittee's report goes on to say, for example, in the third quarter of 2021 alone, institutional investors bought 42.8% of homes for sale in the Atlanta metro area and 38.8% of homes in the Phoenix, Glendale, Scottsdale market. This is horrifying. this spells bad news for those communities. It really does. And there's more than one study that shows the relationship between Blythe and home ownership rates. Seriously, companies, like I said earlier, like Open Door, have for years now been buying homes on behalf of these large Wall Street institutions that have begun to effectively erode our communities. And this trend is getting worse as home ownership possibilities become further and more distant for Jane and Joe aspiring homeowners. So what do? As an industry, what do we do? Well, it's very simple. Message your community, your friends, your neighbors, your families, your sphere of influence, and tell them when they work with companies or groups that represent institutional investors, they need to simply say no. Period. I mean, period. That when we work with these nothing but for-profit blood-sucking vultures, we hurt what we love the most, which is our communities. That working with a realtor and a local lender and selling to a family, even if it takes longer and even if it nets you less, will pay more to you in the future. Not only in terms of the community's social health, but probably, according to this study, the value of the house that you're purchasing going forward. I hope that makes sense. With that said, you guys make it a great day. Have a great weekend. Smile. And I'll catch you on Monday.